Hello. I want to talk about third party, just a brief overview. The website is thirdoption.party. I am Jerome Bell, the founder, and let's talk about third party. I want to talk a little bit about who created, what organization created third party, Mega School. What is third party? How does it work? And if we're meeting in person, we're gonna have a Q&A afterwards. What is Mega School? It's high school, except it's for adults. So whenever we find ourselves saying, "Man, I wish I learned that in school," Mega School is an opportunity to learn it right now with other adults. It was founded by myself, Jerome Bell. There's really just three main principles as we build out this decentralized education. More on that later. We want to be reasonable, we want to be fair, we want to be practical in everything we do. So we want to decentralize education, basically bring education to you. Instead of people going to the place of education, bring the education to where the folks are. We have something we call learning parties, where there are mini courses where you get a bunch of family and friends, you fill up the living room, and then you have somebody zoom in on the TV screen. And for 30 minutes to an hour, they're going to teach you something really incredibly interesting. And it'll be interactive. And yeah, each one teach one. People can make money by tips, optional. So it's free education, but they do accept tips. So it works out all around. But that's the gist of Mega School. We have our learning parties. Now, moving next. What is third party? Okay, what is third party? It is Mega School civics course. So we want to have a practical approach to learning civics. You got to learn by doing. That means you have to actually win an election. You can't really say you understand politics unless you know what it takes to win an election. So what third party is it is a literally a new political party, and it is designed to be a failsafe for dysfunctional political system, or put another way, a failsafe for toxic politics. Okay, and the party is literally named third party. Okay, because it's designed to just be a reliable third option. That's part of how we operate as a failsafe. So the basics of who, what, when, why, and how of third party. The who. Third party will be entirely operated and controlled by teenagers. 13 to 18, 19, you're out. So I myself am 19 and up. So I'm automatically out from day one from the operating and control of the party. Okay. Anybody could run as a candidate of any age. But when it comes to actually operating and controlling the party infrastructure, the party itself, that's going to be exclusive to teenagers. So they have a 6-year window where they can take advantage of this awesome opportunity. And what is it? Again, it's a new political party, a failsafe for dysfunctional political systems, a failsafe for toxic politics. When? Right now. Right now. We're going to start running candidates as soon as humanly possible. There's no timetable, nothing we need to wait on. We can execute right now. And why did I create third party? We need a self-sustainable solution to corrupt government. You know, we have corrupt government. People have different ideas about what the solution is. We need a self-sustainable one. By locking in the age group, teenagers, that 6-year window, 13 to 18, 19 year out, it's self-sustainable because there's always a new generation flowing in, and they want to do better than the previous generation did. Kind of like beating the high school record, right? Everyone's going after it. Each generation, each class is going after it. So it's a self-sustainable solution to have those practical solutions for dysfunctional government. How? The legal side of it is that we're going to use common law trust. And we're going to get into that further in a bit. But we're going to use common law trust. That's English common law. We're going to use trust to be able to run the party economically, efficiently, and fully legally compliant. So that's going to be a key piece, is by leveraging trust. Now, who's the team right now? It's just me. Hopefully, after you watch this, it'll be more than me. But I'm just the founder. I'm locked out of the party because I'm 19 and up. But I'm lending my support to bootstrap this and help the teenagers get off the ground so that they can run with it intergenerationally. Some of our policies, because the way third party works is that we are not based upon ideology. Probably the only political party that's not based upon ideology, where we just focus on mainstream policies. We don't look at moderate policies. Moderate just means watered down controversial policies. That's why people can't get behind moderate policies. Mainstream policies are strong policies that just have strong support 80 to 90% of the population. So we want truly mainstream policies. So just a few examples, the tax income bounty. What that is if somebody has an idea on how to save the government taxes, we'll give them 1% of the savings. So let's get a concrete example. I have an idea of how to save the government $1 million of expenses, $1 million of taxes, right? Well, just for the idea, you'll be paid 1% of the savings, 1% of the $1 million savings. That's 10 grand. So you're going to get paid 10 grand for an idea of how to save $1 million, right? Easy money. So you want to incentivize and crowdsource idea generation to come up with ways to lower taxes. Okay. And that's, of course, to the benefit of the general community. That's your community service. We're just giving you a financial incentive. The retirement income bounty is similar. It just focuses specifically on government retirement income. The rent to own policy is a very powerful one. We want to partner with affordable housing providers. So basically, if you're renting, we're saying you should be able to buy a home without forget your credit score. You can have zero credit, you can have terrible credit, okay? Because what really matters is, do you have consistent income and do you have a consistent rent payment? That's your credibility. That's your credit. And so basically, these affordable housing providers, if you have consistent income, consistent rent history, they're going to get you into a rent to own program. The affordable housing providers, they already exist. They're in the private sector. They're going to buy the house for you and give you a certain amount of time, say 3 years, to purchase the property from them. So they buy it for you right now. Then you start renting from them. And then they're going to give you an option to buy, say, within 3 years or so. Okay. Now, connected with this is we want a financial literacy program so that all these people who are in this program have a holistic understanding of how to manage their money so that they can handle home ownership. And we're going to partner with credit unions so that they're the ones who are going to actually provide the loan when it's time to actually buy. They're the ones who actually provide the loan, is these local credit unions. And now they're a homeowner, okay? And we want to reduce the risk, so I'm going to set up a public bank. A public bank is just a bank that is owned by the government, and the public bank is going to back the loan. Okay. Now this is low risk because they're in a financial literacy program. They work with the affordable housing provider because they have consistent rent, they have consistent income. Right. It really is a low risk situation. So all parties involved will benefit. Okay. And even for the public bank, the government is going to get the FDIC insurance. You see that on every bank. That's normally paid to the federal government. But when you're backed by a public bank, those FDIC insurance premiums are paid to the public bank. So that's more revenue for the government too. And it's cheaper for the credit union when they pay that insurance to a public bank rather than the federal government. So literally every party involved, the renter, the affordable housing provider, the financial literacy program, the credit union, the government with the public bank, all parties involved benefit. The hand-up economy is focused on a gradual moving off of welfare. It's an alternative program that allows you to gradually come off of welfare. So there is no benefit cliff where as soon as I make this dollar amount, I lose all my benefits. No, you gradually move off of it so that people can work towards self-sufficiency. Okay, that's what the hand up economy and the graduated income boost. You see GIB right there. There's more details on that, but I just want to give you a flavor of the type of policies we have. They're strong policies, but they have wide buy-in. Okay. Now, the next piece, our strategy. Now, this is really essential. What is a strategy to actually win? How we're structured is going to be critical. So we're going to have a business and foundation trust. So we're actually going to be structured as a business. We're a political party, but we're structured as a business. Okay. What that means is that because we're structured as a business, we're financially self-sustainable. We're not going to be doing all this campaign fundraising, right? And these insane election costs. It's not going to exist because we're going to function as a self-sustaining business. And because we're a private business, that's the way we're structured, and we have a private charitable foundation where we have both, we can implement these policies without even winning an election. It's possible, not for everything, but for many things, to implement these policies without winning an election. So that's very powerful to be able to say, as a party, we can add value without getting into office. Now, obviously, we want to do both, but if push comes to shove, we're still going to deliver value. We're going to serve the community, and we're going to do it in a self-sustainable way. Social media. These teens understand social media. Okay, so we're going to leverage edutainment. That means education and entertainment. Edutainment to be able to teach about practical civics in a way that's fun and exciting. Teenagers know how to convey that message. They know how to, we're going to leverage their mastery of social media to engage the public, teach them about the practical side, not the theoretical, but the practical side of politics. What does it take to actually get your ideas into law? And well, not just into law, but to be enforced, because sometimes laws aren't enforced. And starting out, we're going to focus on winning judge positions. Why? Judges are supposed to be impartial. They market themselves as impartial. But if you have a political party supporting you, obviously you're saying you're partial. You're partial to your party. So there really is a conflict of interest for elected judges. Now, if you're a judge and you run under third party, you have the support of the party infrastructure. So you have party infrastructure support, but third party isn't ideological based. We're not based upon ideology. So you can maintain your impartiality when you run under third party because we don't have ideology bias. But you also get that party support. There's a lot of administrative and then logistics when it comes to a party. So we want to focus on judges, at least initially. We'll see how it goes, but that's kind of our strategy kind of out the gate. It's a focus on elected judges. The next piece is, okay, how is the actual party organization structured? We're structured as a business trust. So we're a for-profit entity. We are a private business trust, and we're under the jurisdiction of English common law. English common law. And when we get into the details of a business trust, there's some key aspects of it, okay? First, like I said, we're under English common law. So we're not a statutory trust. Statutory means we're subject to the laws passed by the federal government and laws passed by the state government. We're not subject to that. We basically operate at the same level as the US Constitution. When you have a common law trust, a trust is literally a contract. And in that contract is enforceable at the constitutional level. Because the Constitution says the federal government has to enforce contracts. So therefore, that trust is enforceable by the federal government. Our trustees will be exactly 18 years old. Always. Okay. That's what it means. So I'm saying when it's operated and controlled by teenagers, that's why. In the trust contract, we're going to stipulate that a trustee has to be 18 years old. Okay. That's how we make sure that on the legal and financial side of the party that is operated by teenagers. Another reason, when you have a common law trust, you can legally and ethically be at a 0 to 5% tax liability. So we're not going to be burdened with taxes because we're properly structured under the highest level of compliance under the law. That allows us to get 0 to 5% tax. We're going to be structured as a cooperative. Okay. So basically, it's going to be democratically controlled. All the trustees are 18 years old. Each trustee gets an equally weighted vote. So it's going to be ran completely democratically, and it will always be a cooperative because that will be a stipulation in the trust itself. A stipulation of the trust contract is that you can't make it non-democratic. So then it'll always be a cooperative intergenerationally because the trust will outlive the actual teenagers themselves. Transparency. We're not going to have any intellectual property. Intellectual property is fundamentally not a part of how we will operate. We will claim no intellectual property, no trade secrets, no secret sauce, no secret recipes. This is designed to be a template and an example, an open source, open book of how to run a party successfully for the use of other, especially third parties, and even for independents as well. It's a resource for them. This party is for the service of the Commonwealth, period. Another way we have transparency on the financial side is all transactions will be on a public blockchain. That means you're going to see every single transaction. Okay. If there's an equivalent technology that's not blockchain that has the same properties, we'll use that. But bottom line, through the blockchain, all transactions will be transparent. And also, we're going to have everything, the trust contract, all of our political policies, all of our internal procedures and processes will be written at a 5th grade reading level. No legalese. No legalese. Everything we do will be at a 5th grade reading level. And we'll prove it by having literal 5th graders with a C or above average reading level. They will read our documents and have to comprehend them. They'll have to just tell us what they mean. That's going to be our test. We're going to use actual 5th graders to test our reading level. The way we're going to make money, or way we're going to encourage entrepreneurship and professionalism with these teams is we're going to have an incubator and accelerator. So you can bring your business ideas to the party, and they're going to have to be community oriented. Hey, I can solve a problem that the government is struggling to solve. I can solve it in the private sector. We're going to have an incubator and accelerator for those specific types of businesses. Investors can bring their money and invest in these endeavors to serve the community, and that'll allow us to get revenue as well. Our primary source of revenue is going to be our campaigns. We're going to have what's called mock campaigns, and what that means is we will have a fictional candidate running for a given office, say the mayor, and we're going to treat this fictional pretend figure as if they're real. So we're going to engage with the community. That's where the education piece comes from. We're going to solicit ideas for this mock candidate. And basically the idea is that we're going to run the campaign as if they're real. And then when we find an actual flesh and blood person who would be a good candidate for third party, we're going to ask them basically to take over that mock campaign. Okay. Also consulting. We'll consult with other politicians, other political parties, or in whatever capacity is needed from us. And that will be another revenue stream. So we're going to be solid on the financial front. We're going to be protected and 100% legally compliant under the highest law of the land, which is English common law. And we're going to be an example for and by the teenagers. Next is, not everything is a for-profit endeavor. So we need for all of our charitable endeavors, we're going to have a foundation trust. And that's under federal statutory law. It's not under English common law, but in this foundation trust, we're going to have all of our charity, because we will be a 501c3 organization. So some bits, we're going to be a 501c3 organization. The trustees of this trust, again, will be exactly 18 years of age. That'll be a stipulation in the trust contract. The causes that will support, it'll grow over time. Right now, it'll be the Hand Up economy, which I mentioned earlier, the retirement income bounty, which I mentioned earlier, and even something like a prison ministry, where we can legally and ethically help prisoners use a family trust fund to be able to provide for their family while they're still in jail. We can be a source of bootstrapping a revenue stream for that prison ministry so that it can become self-sustaining in its own right. There's going to be all kinds of causes that we're going to support, but we're going to be actively looking for causes to support. We're going to be transparent, again, just like with the business trust. We're going to have a blockchain, so everything financially is publicly viewable. And then again, everything that we do is going to be on a 5th grade reading level. Finances, we're going to accept endowments. Not everybody knows what an endowment is. Basically, they give you a stack of cash. They say you got to turn a profit on it, and then you split the profit. That's what an endowment is. Give us, the people are going to give our foundation a stack of cash and say, I'll keep it simple, $1,000. They say, hey, you need to get a 10% return. Okay, that's $100 a year. And then they say, well, we're going to split it 50-50. All right, there's $50 to me or to the trust, and that's $50 to whoever gave us the endowment. And with that, they can say, hey, I want this endowment to go towards, say, the HUE as one of our causes, or the RIB as one of our causes, or the prison ministry as one of our causes. Like, okay, fine, right? And so it's a win-win situation. So that's one way we're going to get revenues, through endowments. The other one is we're going to educate the community on community tax minimization. So we're actually going to teach the everyday American how to get to 0 to 5% tax legally and ethically without the headache. And when we do that, we're going to partner with private sector programs, and that's how we're going to get the revenue there, is through the private sector, basically giving a contribution for every single person we help to get to 0 to 5% tax. So there's a lot of room for that. And so that's how the revenue is going to come to the trust to be able to fund our causes. I think we're at the end here. Yeah, again, we're just a fail-safe for dysfunctional political system, a fail-safe for toxic politics. It's teen-led, 13 to 18, 19, you are out. And we avoid all the political nonsense by not being based upon ideology, but just mainstream policies, a discovery process of where we already have 80 to 90% agreement. Let's execute those without excuses. And we're going to use trust under the highest level of legal compliance so that we have the maximum freedom to do what we need to do. And we're not a burden on the government because they don't have to micromanage us, AKA regulation. So we're not going to get in the way and be a burden on the system. So again, you want to be able to reach me as the founder, Jerome Bell. You see my email address right there. Main website is megaschool.me. Yeah, so this is third party, just a overview. Try to keep it brief, but this is the overview there. And if you're interested, reach out. Let's talk. Let's do this for ourselves, for the community. Let's do this for the teens. Let's do this for the nation. Third party, a fail-safe for dysfunctional political systems. Thank you.